All right, guys, let's just get into it. I was supposed to make this video a long time ago, and I neglected to do that. I don't have an excuse. I can say I was busy. I'm sure I was. But for a camera that has quickly become one of my favorites, I really don't know why I haven't dove into it and kind of made a quick video about it. And that is the Leica SL2s. Right here, I'll do that little YouTube thing where I stick the camera in front and hopefully face tracking doesn't pick me up and I can show you the camera. So why I want to talk about this camera, for those of you that have been on my channel long enough know that I am a big fan of Leica. I shoot Leica for many years and many different Leica cameras as well. My journey with Leica started out with a Leica M6 and then went to a Leica M9P, and then that trickled over to a Leica M10, which I still have, and then every kind of model after that, the Leica TL, the Deluxe 8 that I have now. I have a QP, a Q2, and a couple SLs, but whatever. The reason being, how I ended up with the SL2s was I picked up an SL. Now, you guys probably have seen my video on this camera. I've done, I think, a few videos on it. I definitely did a two-part series shooting this on the boardwalk. I love this camera. This camera is a lot of fun. This is a really, I would say that this is a gateway camera for Leica. It is easily obtainable at reasonable prices, and the camera that you're getting in terms of a build quality and quality files is really, really impressive. These can be picked up, like I said, at a decent price, and they afford you the availability. They afford you the availability of autofocus with a Leica, as well as adapting lenses, which you can see right here. I have an adapter ring right here for close focus, but also for adapting M lenses. I spent a lot of time with this camera. I really enjoyed it so much, and I said, you know, there was a couple reasons to kind of jump ship and get into an SL2s. Originally, I was looking at an SL2. Prices were a little bit steeper than the SL2s, but then I figured, well, I also want to shoot some video with this, and the SL2s was predominantly a better video tool than the SL2. I know firmware has updated both and so forth, but, you know, I didn't really care about having 48 megapixels. I didn't really need the big files. So, you know, the 24 or 26, whatever this has, was fine. But I've just noticed that throughout the years, I was shooting my Leica Q system a lot more than my M. And a lot of that had to do with my eyesight. As you can see, I am wearing glasses. As I'm getting older, EVFs are a big benefit for me over optical viewfinders. The patch can be difficult for me to see. With the M10, I didn't care about the autofocus or manual focus. You know, for me, I'm a big fan of like whatever works easiest is good for me. I'm not this purist where it's like, well, if it's not manual focus, then I'm not going to use it. It's not a Leica or anything like that. So I just saw myself, when I did use my M10, I was using it with the Visoflex, however you want to pronounce it. I was using that more often than not. And I was saying, like, what am I doing with myself here? Like, I'm using my Q2 or my QP mostly on the streets. And it all trickled down to enjoying an EVF, being able to see and pull focus better. So the SL601 kind of gave me that entry into using adapted glass, my M glass, with a electronic viewfinder, 4.4 million dot viewfinder, very clear, very big. So then I just said, all right, let me step up. And that kind of brought me into the SL2s. Now I'm not going to, this isn't a comparison video. This video started out because, like I said, it was a long time in the making. I took this camera to Alaska. I had a lot of cameras to choose from. I could have brought a Q series. I could have brought the 601. I could have brought the M. I could have brought my Sony A7R 4, which may have been a better choice for megapixels, but that's really wasn't, my direction. I love to shoot Leica for personal reasons. For personal projects, I enjoy the ecosystem of Leica. I like the simplicity of the camera. I like the simplicity of the layout and the menu system. I've talked about this in numerous videos. For me, when I'm holding Leica and I'm using the ecosystem and I'm in the menu and I'm in the EVF and I see the icons the way that they are and the files that come out of them straight out, I just feel more passionate about my photography. And if I'm going to be in a place like Alaska and really enjoying myself and really trying to center into my photography as a passion, then it was Leica for me, without a doubt. So what did I take? I took the Leica SL2s. I took the 24-70 Vario, the Vario Elmerit SL. Again, this is a 28-70 2.8 constant aperture at 2.8. Obviously, you can stop it down. A spherical, an amazing lens for just covering a little bit of everything. But I knew I was going to need some more reach for certain things like whale watching, trips that we were going on, eagles, wildlife, bear, things like that. 70 wasn't going to be enough. I could have spent the money and went big and bought another Leica glass, but these things start getting expensive, especially when you're in the world of Leica, let alone the camera body, and then you start adding glass, which could be, in most cases, more money than the actual camera body, especially since this camera was bought used. You're talking about even used glass is more expensive than sometimes the body. So I bought a Sigma 100-400 in the L mount, because Sigma is L mount Alliance, and it worked flawlessly. I just really didn't need a lens like that all the time other than for this trip, so I ended up selling it afterwards. But it functioned flawlessly. I do my minor gripe, and that could have just been because of the atmosphere and where we were in the world. When you start getting out to that distance, you really have to add a lot of dehaze or clarity to your files, because you do get that haze. You're out 400 millimeters. I mean, it's a pretty good piece of distance. But my overall impressions about shooting this camera in Alaska, weather sealed, I loved everything about it. Autofocus was fast enough for me for anything that I wanted to do, especially with whales. I was capturing birds in flight, which, you can see throughout, some of this video. Wildlife was not a problem. Portraits were awesome. Landscape was beautiful. Again, I could have been a little wider, but 24 was fine for where I was. Actually, I found myself shooting a lot of landscape, more telephoto, because I was on a cruise. So a lot of the landscape that I would capture would be from, deck side on the boat. So, I did need that little bit of distance, especially for glaciers and helicopters and other boats and, just the banks of, the straits that we were going through. So I didn't really suffer that much. I shot some street in Vancouver before we departed for our Alaska adventure. And I also used this camera as well. It is a heavier camera. It is a beefier camera, but it is solidly built. You know, this camera's been out for a while, so I'm not telling you anything new or that you can't find from other YouTube personalities talking about this camera well before I have. But you guys subscribe to my channel, so I'm sure you want to hear my opinion on it as well. And I've kind of been sleeping on this camera as far as introducing it to my viewership. And I really don't want to keep doing that. I've been using this camera for a lot of work. I've been using it for food photography. I've been using it for editorial work. I've been using it a lot with Harlow. You know, I am a Harlow ambassador, so I attend a lot of events in New York City. I have to demonstrate the way that our lights work, and you know, shooting with models and shooting at events and beers and camera events. I've been using the SL2s for a lot of these events that we've been going on, and it's held up wonderfully. It's performed beautifully, and again, it's really primarily more shifted towards video work than photography, but I really enjoy the smaller file size, the pliability of the files, and the low light performance on this camera is phenomenal. Really, I see no problem pushing 12,800 and delivering that. They're very, very clean. I was really amazed by the ISO performance of it. Autofocusing in dark areas can be a little tricky, just like anything else. It is contrast based only. It is not like the SL3 where, you know, you do have that phase detection, but otherwise, it's a beautiful camera to use. I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to be shooting it a lot in 2025. I think I will start some videos talking to you about some of the cameras that I do use on a daily basis and what will trickle into 2025. And this will definitely be one of them. I do find myself bringing this camera right alongside either a Q series or just this camera by itself because of the EVF. We're at 5.7 million dots now on this, and it is crystal clear and it is beautiful to shoot through. And like I said, I really enjoy the pliability of the files. I use this 24-70 a lot. I also use some of the Sigma contemporary lenses. Like I have a 35 f2 for it, which is beautiful, and it's a little smaller, and it just makes the footprint overall a little easier to handle. But this camera's been to a few places now with me. I've, like I said, I've been to Alaska with it. I've been to New York a few times with it, Florida with it. So it's done some traveling, and it's held up wonderfully. Really, what else can I say about it? You guys have probably seen these cameras numerous times, but I hope you enjoy some of the photos that you've seen throughout this video. And here at the end, I'm going to show you a few more. Please like and subscribe, all that nonsense. I am an unscripted YouTuber, so you know, I don't come at you with all the nonsense. So if you like these kind of videos, this is where you belong, and I promise I will make more in 2025. Not bad for a one take. I just realized that. Definitely a couple flubs, and my desk is moving around a little bit here, but whatever. It is what it is. Hope you enjoy this one, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.